Good morning everyone, and thank you for joining me here today on day 14 of 100 Days of Code. Today we're going to continue on where we left off yesterday. So yesterday evening I was having some issues because I needed to find the backup files that came with this project in order to apply the CSS styling that's supposed to be applied to the various components of this project. So the bar chart, for example, I'm not sure if I have some errors or if possibly the bar chart isn't displaying correctly because of the CSS. So in order to just move on and rule out this possibility, I need to find the backup code, but I was having problems finding it, so we're going to just have to start there now today and continue on looking for that code. So that's what I'm going to do. I had wanted to find these files offline, but I just didn't get a chance. And also it occurred to me that this is 100 Days of Code. You know, there's going to be some ups, there's going to be some downs, and hopefully if I can do things offline as well, I mean, I'll do that, but I just didn't have the time this time around. So it's important to know that it's not always going to be a smooth ride. You're not always going to just make loads of progress and things are going to go great. Sometimes you need to solve a bug for a while or find some backup code. So that's how we're going to start today. So I'll have a look for this code, and I'll also just start off by starting up my application here. So my app, we've been following on with the React Complete guide by Maximilian. Fantastic resource. So npm start and let's get going. So I really appreciate everybody tuning into these videos. It's wonderful, and I really hope that you're learning something and that people coming along afterwards, that you're learning something as well. So thank you for joining, and I appreciate you all. Thank you. So here we go. We can see our bar chart, which isn't looking much like a bar chart. Yeah, it's not really looking like a bar chart. So we need to find the CSS of this course. So I downloaded both of the folders yesterday where this code should be. So let's just have another look. Sometimes all you need is a fresh pair of eyes on a new day as well, and you'll find that all of a sudden you have your answer, which is very funny, but definitely a break, just in a good night's sleep, that can be key to solving a problem in coding. So do keep that in mind. If you're really not getting anywhere, sometimes it's okay to just come back to it the next day, and you'll be surprised a lot of the time you just have your answer. And then sometimes you don't, and that's okay, you just continue where you left off. But sometimes taking that break can be valuable. So so everything is zipped in here. So I have this file, this zipped file that came with the project, and everything is zipped in here as well. So we finished chapter 5. Chapter 6 isn't what we need because I checked it, so I'm going to unzip chapter 5 and just see what might be in there. So we will open this with code, incorrect button, sorry. That's alright, Microsoft Defender. I don't need your defense at the moment. And let's have a look in here. And this is empty, yeah. Okay, so I unzipped 5 already. So let's go for 4. And just see what happens. and then trying to unzip them on Windows, it tells you that the file name is too long. So okay. So this is fine. And then it tells me the file name is too long. Or try a location that has a shorter path. Okay, yes, it's because, but what's in here? Okay. We definitely need more than that. I just don't understand too well what's going on with the, I just don't know where to find this code, strangely enough. Should be straightforward. This is not the hard part. Oh. Well, thank God I'm getting on okay with some of the coding, and if this is the bit I'm stuck with, I'm happy with that, so I'll take that. We can always learn how to unzip a file correctly and find some code. Okay, so all of these names need to change. They're just too long. So rename 3. I don't even know if that was 3. Yeah, it was 4. 3. There's 3 again. So 3's already unzipped. Let's have a look. Okay. So let me just open this whole folder in Visual Studio Code. Yeah. So I will open this with code and we'll have a look through each of those folders that we've seen. So okay, so it's not this one. It's definitely not this one either, but I'm trying to make sure. Expense item. Great. So we're starting to see expenses. That's brilliant. Oh, that's actually brilliant. Great. Come on. Let's keep this going. I want to see all of the expenses. Okay, that's good. That's a good start. So now let's go to 4. I'm going to just go incrementally, because when I went to the chapters that I thought it should be, you know, there's no harm now. We've seen an expense. Let's just take it up a notch, each notch. Because just going to where I think it should be, I keep ending up not finding what I'm looking for. So, excuse me. So I'll just take it slow. Let's open this with code. Okay. So oh, it opened everything. Okay. Lifting the state up, I remember this. Oh, yes, we have some expenses. That is, oh my God, I'm so happy to see you, baby. Yes, that is fantastic. Look, guys, we're on to a winner. We have some of our stuff here. Yes. Oh, this is great. We can just get our CSS and move on. this is not where I wanted to be, you know, messing around for you or for me. So fantastic, brilliant. Okay, super. I'm really excited. That's great. Okay, so now let's just get this stuff in. Well, first of all, I'll just go to the last file of this particular section so we can get the completed. Oh, look at this. Look at this. I'm so sorry, Max. Yesterday I was like, oh, we might just have to like get in touch. Max is very helpful, so I'm sure he'll give me a shout or get back to me if I get in touch with him. So I apologise. I thought, what chapter are we on? Like, I still am confused, but let's not worry about that. We are on to a winner here. So our new expenses CSS, fantastic. Let's just copy and paste. That's what we're doing here. We just want to grab that code that Max has provided for us. That will just make our whole project look far better, because the focus of this project is not on the CSS, it's on learning React. So therefore, you know, we're not doing the CSS ourselves. I did add in some CSS myself, but on the whole, oh no, chart. That's okay, because we're getting there. So okay, so do I have everything from here now? Before I go wandering off, let's not worry about the chart for a moment. Let's get the other CSS in. So here's our expense date. Do I not have an expense date CSS? Yes, I do. So why is it not there? Looks like I do not. So although I've imported an expense date CSS here. Oh no, I haven't. I've imported the expense item CSS, which that's definitely incorrect. Perhaps I copied and pasted. So I'm just going to make this expense date, and yep, it can't find it. So okay, that makes sense because I couldn't see it in the Finder. So we shall create that date.css, which is the associated CSS file for this particular JS file. And now we just have our CSS in there. So then we will move on to our expense item. We will copy and paste. Great. And then we have expenses. I'm going to leave in the little few classes I wrote myself, because why not? And then we're going to go to our expense filter. I'm delighted I found this. At least it just takes that out of the equation. So right, so let's filter. Then we have our list. Okay, so this is where we diverge. We don't have the expenses list here, and we don't have the chart. Apologies. So that's all well and good. That's great, because we're still on to a winner here. So let's go back to our Finder and let's just find out or unzip the next file. So let's see, so far we're on 4. So we're going to unzip 5. Okay, so React, complete guide, React. So I'm just going to unzip 5. Yeah, there's nothing really exciting in here anyway. I was trying to zoom in, but I wouldn't worry about this one. So first of all, we'll rename it to 5 because it's telling me the path name is, excuse me, is too long. So then we'll extract all. Great. And now we have 5, and then I'm going to open this with code. Great, and close this, just move it. Okay. Come on. Great. Super duper. Absolutely fab. Love it. Okay, great guys. On to a winner. Our chart's gonna look a little bit better. Majoritively better. Like, look at this. This already looks better. So, yeah, super. Super Max. Thank you. Okay, great. And I feel like we're also missing some more CSS. But let's just get the chart in. So here's our chart. CSS, which, yes, I sort of came up with something by myself for some of these, but just having the intended CSS just to know whether our errors, why the chart, I can't really see the chart. You can't see the chart here, so I don't know properly what's going on, and it would just make it easier to have the CSS there. So okay, they look great. Well, they do look good, but they don't look massively different. So there you go. Okay, and then I think I need my expense list. Yeah, expense item. That looked like that was already done. Well, let's do that. Expenses. Okay. Expenses filter. Expenses list. Okay. Expenses filter. Expense one. And then just to be sure. Okay, so there is also some styling in our index file, which is just global styles. We want these to apply everywhere. So we will also add those in. Ooh, nice. Not so mad on this grey colour. Let's give it a bit of life. Blue. I never knew I loved blue so much, but I do. That's pretty. Okay. Yeah, big fan of blue. Yellow and blue. So blue and yellow, blue and yellow. Okay, so that's fabulous. Great. Now we can get on with debugging this. Why do they look so skinny? Little skinny bars. Taking me to Mars. Da-da. Oh look, it looks lovely now. So these still Oh, very good, yeah. Okay. Look, I have the CSS in now, don't I? So that's, we'll just continue on because, oh yeah, and I also needed the code for the next part of this. So that's actually positive. So I'm just going to add a commit message here now. Commit all that code, and then we can worry about this next part of the course. So let's do that. Just want to get the exact section that I'm on. Oh, Max. Hero. He's a hero. So we are up here. So we just finished chapter 5. He just started speaking so quickly in my ear, because I have it times 2 the speed just so I can get through it quite quickly and then focus on the code, and he's just like blah, 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 blah. And it just sort of took me off guard. So okay, let's commit our changes. We're at the end of chapter 5. That's brilliant, and we're moving on to something new now in a moment. This chart still isn't properly reacting. We should do some investigation first. That's really what we should do. Oh, but the padding on the side went away. Super. That must have been from that last file, possibly. The app index. Because it was still there a moment ago and I was looking thinking, I'm still missing something. Margin 0. I think that could be it. That caused that to go down. Let's just open this file and let's comment this line out and save. Okay, no, so it was something else, but I was looking at this border here and I wasn't sure why it still hadn't gone away. So let's just add all this code and say where we've got to so we can continue. So new terminal, I'm going to do cd, well I don't need to cd into my project folder. Let me see, dir. So I do. So I was in my 100 days of code React folder, which inside it has my app folder, and I was wondering if I could just commit from where I'm at, but as you can see, if I do dir here, we do not see a .gif folder, so there is no .gif folder on this level to commit to, so I do need to cd into my app. And then if I do a dir, here you can see I've got a git ignore, my source file. So my git folder is in here. I don't know why I can't see. Thought I should be able to see .git as well. But anyway, the git ignore is an indication that the git is there, because why would you have a git ignore? Let's just check our Finder as well, so I'm not telling you incorrect information. But so sites, my app, .git, that's not it. So I recently wiped my computer, and if you check out, so there's the .git folder, because it's a hidden folder, it didn't come up in the terminal. I thought it should still come up though, but yeah, I think that's why. But so we need to commit and push on the level that the .git is at, so we couldn't have done it in this 100 days of code folder. We needed to go into my app because that's where the .git is. And if we had have placed our .git a level above, then we would have been saving changes in that top level folder as well. So you can put your .git file wherever you want, really. You know, you could have a folder with 4 projects in it and have the .git at the topmost level, and commit all of them as you make changes to one or the other. Generally I like to keep it per project. So, and then in my new position we do microservices, and we sort of keep each large functionality of code has its own repository and its own Git, so it's just really good for managing it. But how to properly manage that from a top-down approach all the way through to completely set it up, I would have to look into that more, but that's something that we should look into because it's interesting. I use that approach in my job, and it's just a really, you know, modern way of thinking about things. I think it seems like a great fit, a great solution, so we will look into that as well. Cool. Oakley dokley. Oakley dokley. So before we commit, I just had a brainwave actually. So while I was trying to find that folder in one of these files, and I tried to open it, I couldn't see anything. And is that because if you open a zipped file within a zipped file, or just if you open a zip file within a zipped file, so you can see there, if I open a zipped file I can see what's inside the zipped file. But why did it look like there was nothing in the zipped file of the zipped file? So here's a zipped file and chapter 5. Ah, lads. Turns out I was just going off my rocker. That's okay though. Oh, for God's sake. There's the chart. Okay, look. Thank you that we found it. That's wonderful, and let's wrap it on up. Wrap it on up, wrap it on up. Okay, so we're going to do git add dot and then git commit message completed chapter 5 chart, and we are on day 13 if I'm not mistaken, but no, we're on day 14. Oh God, I hope I didn't say day 13 at the beginning. Chart day 14, cool. I'll put day 14 at the beginning. Right, well I also showed you guys how to do a git commit amend. So my finger slipped there and I added in the wrong commit message because I wanted to add day 14 and completed chapter 5. So now that's more reflective, and I've changed the commit message and we can push everything. Yep, super. Great, okay. So let's debug this chart. So I'm just going to get rid of everything else because there's a lot of stuff floating about that we just don't need. Excuse me, I'll show you the top of my head because why not? It's a good top of a head. We've all got one of those, and we'll just continue. So oh man, I swear in the morning I'd be like a bit delirious or something. I'm not traditionally a morning person, but it's the best way to ensure I get this done. It really is. Sometimes in the past work can run over, or you know, you can have plans after work, or plans can come about, or it's just really really nice to have your evenings free, which I still end up doing other things related to this, but you know, get it done in the morning. I found it's the best way for me to ensure I do what I need to do, is just wake up and do it, and then it's done. So anybody that has that option, you know, try it out for a while, and try it out for 2 weeks, because if you're not a morning person, even a month, try it out for. So if you try it out for 2 weeks, you know, our internal bodies are just going to be screaming at us because you're like, no, I'd prefer to be up till midnight. I want to I want to, you know, wake up an hour before I start work and just potter about the house. But waking up 3 hours before, really just, and getting your stuff done and having time to eat your breakfast and everything, it's great. So, oh, my coffee's gross. Didn't make that one very well. Okay, so let's just get on with this now. So when I change these values, this should change. So we always start off in 2022. So in order to not have to change the graph, I'm just going to add in some items here, and let's go with 10, 50 and 60 or something. Oh, it's the date, yeah. So this will filter by year, and this shows it by month. Actually, it's not by the amount that we put in, it's by the month that we put in. So if I do a January, a February, I mean October will do for now. Yes, so if I put in, let's say the 12th of the 1st, 2022, and submit that. And add another one. We'll go for, and the 1st of the 1st, 2022. Then we'll do another one the 1st of the 1st, or the 3rd of the 1st, let's say, because this should now give us two boxes filled in the date. If that's how that calculation is going, I'll have to, well, yeah, it's just creating a percentage. So, but it's putting the percentage based on how many products you had per month. So hopefully having 2 here will, I don't even know what I put last time, guys. 30 quid for bread, you must be kidding me. Quid is just slang term for euros, well, for Irish euros, which are the same as all other European euros, but in Ireland we use quid as a slang term for our currency. Some people, not everybody. I say it, it's just my slang, no. We do say it in Ireland. So what quid should we put in next time? So I'll just say a swing. My brain is just going ooh, ooh, ooh. So, and the date we'll put in 3rd of the 3rd and 2022. Okay, so now we have a load of expenses on the 2022. So that doesn't make any sense. Right, well, we clearly have a few bugs here, guys, that we have to work through. So Grant, let's do that. We'll do that now. So let's figure this stuff out then, shall we? So okay. So first of all, our expenses aren't updating in this chart properly, because we definitely have 2020. We definitely have 2022 items in our list of items now, because we just added 3 of them. So we need to go back to where the submit button is being fired and is the action on the submit button incorrect? Because if I submit, it's just closing this. So perhaps we have the close event handler on the submit button, and therefore, excuse me, oh, I thought I paused, sorry, I just had to cough. So I thought we had the send it to the array and to add a new expense to the array, but it looks like we could actually have the cancel, same as the cancel, because it's the same action that's happening here. So let's go and check that out and see what's going on, and I'll get rid of this bar fill height because that's just showing us that we did that calculation correctly, which I wasn't sure of at one stage because the bars weren't filling, but now I think it's something else. So we'll get rid of that so we're not just clogging up our console log with just loads of information that we've already figured out. So that's okay. This does work. And then, you know what, I'm gonna just like I'll get rid of this one anyway. Sorry, I had a hair, that's okay. So let's keep going. So we need to go to the submit button and figure out what's happening on fire of that button. Aha! Ha ha! We figured it out, guys. So I accidentally put the submit type on the cancel button. So the cancel button isn't passing anything through. The cancel button is just cancelling. So for this to submit is very clearly incorrect. We need this submit type on the submit button, obviously, but you know, sometimes it can take a moment to pinpoint these issues. So, and I'm going to just explain it because maybe it's not obvious to some people. It seems obvious to me now. I mean, basically the submit button should have the type submit. That bit is logical at least. And because this type is submit, this links up to the form. So when you have a form and it has this on submit attribute that you can add to it and tell it what you want it to do on submit, the way that this knows what to fire and what to pass as submit handler, or what to run I should say, so this is the function that will run once we click that submit button, because we've told it on the form on submit run this function, and the way it knows, well, when do I run this button? On submit, and that's due to this keyword being called out down on the button. So that's what's going on there. So I'm going to switch these around and then we should be all gravy, baby. And we should at least be able to see our new expenses going into our table now. So okay, and let's just, okay, no problem. So let's just reload this because our bar fill height should disappear as well. I ran downstairs on a successful pause and made a new cup of coffee because I deserve it. So do you. Treat yourself to something you enjoy. Coffee, I should really, look, even the small things, doesn't need to be extravagant. So yeah, great. Okay, so our title, let's just go milk, bread, whatever. 10 quid. Repeat after me. Quid. No. I'm joking. But if you come to Ireland, you can say that, you know. So yeah, it's nice to learn a bit of local lingo on this channel. Ireland is the local lingo. Irish, well, Gaeilge. Should get in a bit of Gaeilge if I knew my Irish language, but unfortunately we no. So now I'm going to just go, that didn't work either. So our submit still isn't submitting and it's telling me the form is not connected. So let's just make sure. I mean, we're definitely running. This can change. Form is not connected. I'll Google that now in a moment if I have to, but I just want to go back to the form and see if I see anything else. Oh, holy moly. So I've also got the wrong, this should be on the cancel button obviously, so yeah, grand. So on click of this button we want just to cancel the props, so that's okay. We just on cancel, which is just cancelling what we're doing. We're not sending the props anywhere. So now on the submit, we're not cancelling anything. We just have submit, which is linked to the form, which is linked to the submit handler, which runs this method, which takes the event, and what it does is creates this object expense data with title, amount and date, takes the props that come in and saves it in the format of this object, and then we put everything back to 0 so we can put in something else. So that's what we're doing. So now if we go milk, 20 quid, say it with me, no. And then we've got 10 of the first 2022. I honestly think I'm a bit delusional in the morning, guys, so please let me know if this is assisting, or like just please stop talking about quid, Leanne. I'll take all criticism and comments constructively. So now we'll do bread, amount, 30 and date. We'll go with the first. So that didn't work either, but just wondering why. Expense content is assigned but is never used. Line 15 on expense list, and it's still telling me that the form is not connected. This definitely did work, so I'm just going to try it on a page that already has some expenses, because I remember milk going in there. So just sanity check, trying to get to the bottom of this, and trying to get to the bottom of this, and then we can figure it out. So 2021 submit, grand. So look, we know that the whole system is working now. It is working, we just have a problem with an aspect of it, but it is working. So reducing down your problem, trying to get to the bottom of it, this is a key skill in coding. And the biggest thing I tell you when you're trying to get to the bottom of something in coding is keeping your cool. Took me a long time to learn that when I used to be in other jobs in the past, you know, and you're just starting to learn and you really want to make a good impression, and you certainly don't want to be wasting anyone's time or your boss's time. And so if you get stuck and you're stuck for too long, then you start panicking because, you know, you just don't feel like this is how you should be performing. And realistically, solving bugs is a part of coding. It is a part of coding. So when you get that first job, guys, do not put too much pressure on yourself, because if you do, it reduces your productivity. So remember that. The reason we get stressed, or at least I used to get stressed in work, is because I was afraid my productivity levels were going down because I couldn't solve something. And that only exasperates the issue. You only get more panicky. Your brain gets fried, you cannot think straight, and there's no chance of solving that problem, and you need to go home and sleep it off. And if that happens for a couple of days, which it will in the beginning, in the very beginning of your journey, you can get stuck on issues for a few days. And try and keep calm, you know, walk away from it after work if you've had a day like that. It's all well and good telling you guys, because I just know if any of you are anyway like I was when I started, you just want to do your best, you're trying to put your best foot forward. If you can't get something in work, you go home, you stay up till 9, 10, 11, 12 trying to figure out this problem. Then you go into work the next day, you've been stressing out all day about this, so your sleep wasn't adequate, you didn't get any rest time because you didn't allow yourself to, and it just exasperates the problem. So realize that solving bugs, getting stuck, figuring stuff out is a part of coding. You are not stupid. You will get better at it. Practice makes perfect, guys. You know, now it takes me less time to figure things out. I get there much quicker, and I know that's only going to keep on improving and keep on improving. So now I've got here, I can look back and say that. So I'm telling you guys, if you are there, you will look back and think the same thing as me. So be kind to yourself, encourage yourself, allow yourself to take a break, allow yourself to go for a walk, and just do your best. And don't start spiraling if you can't get something for a while, because it helps nobody and it actually makes the whole situation worse, which is why you're getting panicky to begin with. which I know we know on a deeper level, but it's just hard to remember it sometimes. So don't do that anymore, because I've just got that little bit better that it doesn't happen so often, and I've figured that much out, so I actively stop it from happening now. So just keep that in mind, guys. You know, we get better as we keep on practicing. Ooh, so they are going in. And then loads of things solve themselves as well. I like that. Now there's still a bug, we'll get to the bottom of it. So I've added in an extra item here in February, and now we can see we have different values for January and February. So if I just close these up here and highlight our chart area again, so here is our chart, and then excuse me, and then we have our various chart bars. So there are 12 of these here, starting at an index of 0. And so the first one is represents January, the second one February, March, April, and so on. So if we open one of these up here, the January, we can see that that one entry in January has filled this particular bar to 2%, and then in this one, 2 entries has filled to 100. So that calculation seems a bit off there. Why would one be 2% and 2 entries would be 100%? I'm not sure, but the point is these are different entries nonetheless. We have a 2 and we have a 100, so we should be seeing some sort of visual difference here, which we are not. So we're trying to get to the bottom of that. I think if this was fatter, as in thicker, the bar itself, we would see more. So I did do with 5% yesterday, and that did do something with 5%. Well, not now, so let's try it on the chart bar. No. Okay. So okay, I don't know. We will figure it out. Oh wow, look at that. That is amazing. Oh, I love that. Phenomenal. So happy I found that. So just tell you what this is about here. So Flex is a new to me, and new enough in the grand scheme of things, really. I think it came out last year, Flex. Seems like a new enough concept. It's relatively new as far as I know. I think it came out last year. But basically before Flex, you used to style CSS with, well, Bootstrap. Bootstrap was quite common, how I did it anyway, and it's quite a common method of applying CSS in sort of a general way, so that things are spaced nicely and they look all sort of similar. So Bootstrap, if I just show you this, so Bootstrap basically is a plugin that you can add to your project. So you can add it to I know HTML projects, you can add it to Angular projects, I'm sure you can add it to React projects. I think you can add it to anything that has a JavaScript or HTML background, and probably that's not all. And basically if we go to the examples here and have a quick look, you can see it's a very efficient way of laying out your project for you without having to do much work. So you just import it into your project. You import it into your, so see this here, the columns with the icons. All of this can just be plugged and played into your own project then. They've wrote this code for you. It uses Bootstrap, the framework. It's a framework. It uses Bootstrap, and you can just go ahead and use it. It's so handy. So if we go to the documents, here we go. framework for building responsive mobile first sites. So it just makes building responsive sites really easy. I mean, you still are going to come across some problems, but I've tried to do this completely with CSS as well, and Bootstrap is just a much nicer experience from my own experience. If you're coming into it new, there's still CSS that you need to know and play around with, so you still will learn and you'll still add in your own CSS. But just for the big pages and styling everything and getting a picture to be in the right place, and it just makes general styling of your pages or whatever you're making easier if you're writing it with HTML, with Angular, with React, I'm sure. So yeah, so all you do is just plug it in. So you copy and paste this style sheet link. That's all you do. You just copy and paste that into your main index file. That can just go in, and you can also import it from the terminal if you're using it in a project that has a package manager like Angular, like React. You definitely can use it in React. So, and Vue, like they're all just JavaScript frameworks. So you just plug it into your terminal and run the command, and it will install the package, and then you can use it in your own project then. So here's a starter template. So as you can see here, look, we have our head. It's our doc-type HTML, which is in our index file, or yeah, in our index file. And then you just literally add this script and it'll work. There's your CSS. And then if you wanted Popper, you can add that too, but you can just go ahead and use the Bootstrap. It's up to yourself. Popper gives like additional features that I won't talk on, but because I don't have the background to start going on about Popper here, so I'll actually write that down. And then here you can see in the layout, you've got different layouts, components. So you can literally just plug and play these into your project then. Look at that. I mean, having those transitions for things to close and open when you click them. I'm not going to say it's not easy in CSS, but it certainly takes a certain level of knowledge. You'd want to be doing a little bit competent, you know, just starting off straight from the ground. That could take a fair chunk of time to get that to work like that. So it's just a notable mention. And then you have your standard things like your buttons. And you don't need to style these, you know, you don't need to say padding X, this Y, color blue, secondary, add a class, secondary button, color blah, padding this, color white for the text. All you do is just add in this one line of code and it'll add in that button. So they've inbuilt a lot of things for you, and it's really, really, really useful, and they have different types and styles as well. So check out Bootstrap. And what were we talking about? We were talking about something totally different before I went off on a little tangent. Oh, Flex. And now Flex has come out, and this is so useful as well. You can just lay out the items on your page so easily. It's responsive. You can lay them out differently. And now they have this little inbuilt tool. I mean, I had seen the Flex icon here, but if you click that, it doesn't bring up this same thing, but I had already noticed this, and I was like, that's cool. It's telling me it's Flex, so I like that little badge. But down here in your elements, where you have display Flex, you can click this, and this is showing you what these various, because sometimes you're like, oh, which one do I need? Is it, you know, do I use justify content to move it? Do I line them? And you just need to look it up, or, you know, think about it, and now you have a visual representation, and you'll get to know this stuff anyway. So that's brilliant. Love this. Love, love, love. Great. So yeah, Flex is very useful, guys, as is Bootstrap. 2 ways to style your projects easier and responsively. From my opinion, easier and more responsively. Some people love CSS. Typically people don't love it, but not that they don't love it, just some things can be pernickety and hard to do sometimes. like just finding centering something, or that can just take some time, which is why these frameworks have come out to assist. But some people do prefer vanilla CSS or Sass, or you know, some other way of doing it without using frameworks, but the choice is totally yours. Look into it all. I love Flex and I love Bootstrap. They just make my life easier. So in conjunction with CSS or Sass. So as you can see here in our CSS files, we have Flex, but then we also have other CSS classes. So I thought that was nested, but it's just nested in a media query, so that's okay. This is just saying on a mobile screen, make the width of the screen smaller. Anyway, I digress, and we're nearly at an hour anyway, so I think we're going to wrap it up and continue with this tomorrow. Yes. Yeah, I shouldn't feel guilty because like I'm finished my hour. I should feel happy and proud. So Happy and Proud Me is going to sign off. We're going to commit our code, and I hope you guys are happy and proud too for watching the video and hopefully learning something and being on your own journey, more importantly, you know, taking the time to at least interact with content that is going to help you. You're listening to the terms, you're listening to the technologies. I'm trying to explain things as I go, and we're figuring this stuff out together. So pat yourself on the back for taking the time out, for trying to learn one of the most valuable skills, in my opinion, you can learn in the 21st century. It's not only a skill and a hobby that gets better and more enjoyable with time, but it's a skill and a hobby that can get you a good job that will make you financially stable. So, you know, it's a win-win, win-win, win-win-win, if you're asking me. So fair play to you all for coming here, and fair play to you for being interested. You're already winners in my book, and I'm not joking, you know. It sounds a bit, oh, she's just pumping us up here, but I'm totally being 100% like serious. So that's my opinion. Great job, guys. You know, it is a great skill to learn, and you're all here, so woo, cheers for you. So now we're going to just commit our code. Okay, so I need to just go into my folder with face. Well, I don't know how it looked. I wasn't looking, but I felt it drop to the bottom of the floor. Git add everything, git commit message. We are on day 14, are we? Oh my, oh my, I don't know, no. So we are on day 14. Yeah, day 14. So day 14, and chart bars not shown. So let's leave it there. Git push, and thanks so much, guys. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining me, and yeah, thank you for joining me. I should look at you when I'm saying that, not wondering where the button is. So thank you for joining me, and have a wonderful day. Thanks, guys.